I'm RJ Rani. I work as a radio jockey for a leading radio station in India. But as I said, this evening is definitely not about me. This grand evening which is called Actuarial Gala Function and Awards 2019. तो ये नाम लेने पर एक बार ताली तो बनती है. A massive applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. So, as I said, this evening is about achievements. This evening is about hopes. This evening is about pat on the back. This evening is about strong associations, a sense of togetherness. This evening is above all about you. So can we have like one more round of applause? अपने लिए, a feel good. Thank you. और तालियां बजती रहती है तो अपनी nervousness थोड़ी सी कम रहती है. So thank you so much for that. And as we all know, it's a tradition, it's a parampara that before we kickstart any occasion with celebration. So yes, of course, as we all know, we'll start with lighting the lamp. And to do the honors, I may call Mr. Sunil Sharma, President of Institute of Actuaries of India. Please step forward, sir. Mr. Hemant Bhargava, Chairman LIC of India. Mr. Sanjeev Pujari, Chairperson GCA Organizing Group. Mr. Liaquat Khan, Chairperson Paper Selection Group and Program Advisory Group. Sunil sir? Okay, he's here. So yeah, then moving on, Mr. D.K. Pandit. Mr. D.K. Pandit, sir. Mrs. K.A. Pandit, partner. Mr. Sanjay Datta, Chief Underwriting, Reinsurance and Claims. ICICI Lombard General Insurance Co-Limited. Then Mr. Dinesh Chandra Khansili, Executive Director, Institute of Actuaries of India. Mr. Masaki Yoshimura, Immediate Past President, International Actuarial Associations. Ms. Marjorie Nogwena, Immediate Past President, IFOA. And last, but definitely not the least, Mr. Dave Sandberg, Member, Board of Directors, SOA. Ladies and gentlemen.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे.
Thank you so much, all the ladies and the gentlemen, for this beautiful and holy start of this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Now to explore more about this evening and to know more about this evening, let me call Mr. Liaquat Khan, Chairperson, Paper Selection Group and Program Advisory Group, 20th GCA. So, you can clap, guys. Come on.
Thank you. I thought you people are clapping. I thought it's now mechanical. Well, good evening, friends. I'm happy to be on this stage after a number of years. Protocol demand the President should be speaking first. However, I took permission from him because I'm going to look at the past. The past has to be first, present, and future next. I'm going to speak about ACFA, Actuarial Gala Function Awards. The logo that you see is for the first time. It was 2010, September, that I took over as president, third time in the history of the institute, after a gap of about 4.5 years. Event that happened in life, howsoever well you planned, is the destiny who decides, and we must know. Everything is a probability statement. It is never 0 or 1. That is never negative and never positive, somewhere in between. Few months earlier, I had lost my wife. Before I retired from HSBC, and her first 3 conditions. Number 1, I will never get associated with the Indian actuarial profession. Agreed? Number 2, I will not take a job anywhere. I could be advisor somewhere. Agreed? Number 3, 1 month live in Lucknow, which is our older home. 1 month in Gurgaon, where I live now. 1 month with my son. After that commitment from me, within a month and a half, my wife and my son left me for the other world. I was out of shape. 5-6 months have gone, not reading newspaper, not seeing TV, doing nothing, and then all of a sudden, call comes from the then President, Mr. G.N. Agarwal, I don't know whether he is here, saying that election time is coming, I must contest, I must take over as the President. I said, that's impossible. My wife had taken a condition, and she is no more. My son is no more. I am not in shape. Today I am talking to you. I did become President in September 2010. After a few years, I had been President for 2 times earlier, starting first time in 2010, when along with the regulator, we built up the whole actuarial profession. Second time, when I took over President, we built up relationship with the UK, because that's our parent body in some sense. My primary membership is of that of UK Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. Now, for the first 3 months, went on traveling across India, finding out from the students what do they want now. There were complaints quite a lot. And then decision comes, stop the admission system altogether the way it is. But what do we do next? And I'm going to talk about ACFA. We appointed Mr. Varun Gupta, I don't know whether Varun is present here, as in charge of examinations. He is holding a very senior position now in a live company. To look at the whole administrative system, we abolished everything about the admission. We brought it into practice, what we call ACET, ASSET, Actuarial Common Interest Test. One day, when he was sitting with me in the President's room, I shared an idea with him. That idea arose out of the emotions within. What do the students want? Why they should be our members? Such a huge country. I went in different directions of India, right from Srinagar, right from Tejpur in northeast, here you are, to have a feel of the whole people. The first job was how to unite them, how to give them a feeling of oneness, how to give a feeling of celebrations that they are happy, they are part of Indian actuarial profession. While I was discussing with Varun, the idea, I said, give a name to the whole idea. That's what it is. In no time, he went to the table at the corner of the room. He produced this actuarial gala function and awards. I was looking after it for first 3 years. Thereafter, I have not been associated. This time, President Sunil Sharma asked me to get associated and see what could be done. Idea is to make vast body of students. We have now nearly 15,000 active students, and quite a large number of them, they are common set between Institute and Faculty of Actuaries and Institute of Actuaries of India. We started with a cultural program made out of students from what is now called National Capital Region, that typically Gurgaon, Delhi and nearby places, Bengaluru, which is now called earlier Bangalore, and Mumbai. Unfortunately, after 3 years it got abolished, including cultural program by the staff. Idea was to communicate together, let the staff dance along with them or otherwise on the same platform. Another thing which happened is a midnight idea. I was not getting sleep. It was already 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the night. Then all of a sudden an idea comes. I give him a message. I don't know whether we talk together in the night and next day morning. Something has got to be done for the poor, economically disadvantaged, socially disadvantaged, but bright in mathematics. It has something to do with my own history. Poor family, studying in the Lucknow University, eating once a day, borrowing money all the time, and my association with actuarial science starts with a subject. In the graduation program, there was a book called Mathematics for Actuarial Students. Nobody knew what is this. Not even the teacher. Someone asked him, what is actuarial? He said, I don't know. That's the love with the statistics. Then we came up with the idea how to search out the students who are poor, socially disadvantaged. Nobody would want to bother them. They don't have money. And that is the idea came in midnight. I don't know now in the night and morning. I talked to my friend Mayur Ankolekar. I knew he was working with NGOs. He was working in slum areas in Bombay. He was teaching mathematics, arithmetic to students who were very poor. They don't have proper garments for them. We agreed he will work with them, will bring out what we call math stars. We drew a scheme, and in that scheme, I was joking with Marjorie, a friend of mine, we put in the rules that the awards will be given to them by the President of Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. It has always happened, though I was not around, but tradition has been kept. And that was February 2011. By now, about 2,500 such poor students have come over here, occupied the stage and performed. They have come today as well. It's a large number. People, boys, young boys and girls who don't have proper clothing. The system continues. A group of actuarial students, along with my youth, they teach in those areas mathematics and bring out talent among those poor boys and girls. And by now, they have taught 30,000 such students. It's a great achievement, and that gave me the courage, that gave me the motivation to continue whole thing as it is. We really looked at it, AGFA, President supported. I talked to a number of people, got involved, that's how I am here. I am very happy to interact with you. For future, Sunil will talk. The past is this. I can only say future is bright. Today you see AGFA, that's the logo we have created this year. We have lot of plans in place how to make sure that mathematically oriented boys and girls from socially challenged, I'm saying it again and again. India is a caste-based society. Some section of the people have been disadvantaged for God knows how many years. Nation is trying to bring them up. It's very difficult. Economically challenged at the same time. We have to bring them the greatest happiness that I will ever get before I die is that some of them are actuaries. So that's the history of AGFA. We have a lot of plans that Sushil will share with you. And I'm happy this Sunil, new president, has agreed to restart all those things. And another thing which we could not repeat this year, which we did 3 times, capture the moment a person becomes a fellow. Hard reading, years of studying, sacrificing your damn thing, then you become fellow. What do you feel? A close friend of mine, he is not here. Somebody asked him, what did you do? He said, first thing I did, I went to the temple. Another friend, a lady friend who could not come here, I asked her, what did you do? She said, my husband was not around, I called him, then I went to the temple. I was in UK at that time, I qualified from there. Came back to India before results were announced. I got the result. I passed. I felt a huge vacuum. Studying for 7 years hard. What do you do now? So these varied kind of feelings. So what we decided, which we did for 3 years, then everything got stopped. We'll have a secret interview of close relation with the person who has become a fellow. Either wife or a spouse, other way around, or mother, whosoever it is. And the best of them came out right in 2011, where everybody laughed. That's the feeling which cannot be found anywhere else. Neha, I don't know whether she is here. Neha Shah had become a fellow. She was here to take the certificate. Her mother-in-law was quietly interviewed. Nobody knew. And Guru Raj Nayak, operations manager of the Institute of Actuaries India, he said, sir, when you will see the video, you will see what it is. Your objective is achieved. Her mother-in-law, a Gujarati lady, is speaking Hindi in Gujarati style. Absolutely not much lettered. Talked about her happiness when her daughter-in-law became fellow and her son was a chartered accountant. Leave aside what he said, it was very hilarious. Then Guru Raj asked her, Bahan ji, my dear sister, what do you think about actuarial science? Your daughter-in-law has become an actuary. You know what she says? In beautiful Hindi, in Gujarati style, I will say thy sons in English. She said, I don't know. But what I do know, it is much above accountant. That was a beautiful thing. I thought all the ideas that many of us have has been captured. But thank you, Sunil, for allowing me to peep into the past. I would invite you to come over here and take the stage. It's your place. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I can really connect to emotions to the profession. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my seniors, my colleagues. The profession which is there now in 2019 is actually a hard work of all of our senior actuaries sitting here, and some of those who could not really come here. I would like to really appreciate all their support that they have, the hard work that they've done. I think my job now as a president in 2019 is much easier as compared to the job that they have done in past. So I salute to all my senior actuaries sitting here, and I can really connect with the feelings of Mr. Khan, who has also been, who has contributed immensely to where we are today. So thank you to all of them. A very warm welcome to AGFA. And I don't think I need to really tell much about AGFA. There have been a lot of aspirations that, as Mr. Khan has mentioned, that we want to include this, we want to include that, we want to have the feelings of the family, because when someone qualifies, it's the contribution, it's the support, it's really the family that supports someone to qualify more than the qualifier. And we had the aspiration to really capture all those moments through videos. We did that when we used to have 10, 15 qualifying actuaries. But unfortunately, given the time constraints that we have, the organizing committee decided not to really capture those moments and show that here. But believe me, the kind of efforts that the team under the able leadership of Mr. Khan and Sanjeev Pujari have put in together is really, really done a great job and hard work. I would like to thank the entire GCA organizing committee, organizing group, and also the paper organizing group, who actually really been very, very harsh in terms of selecting the best papers from all across the world. Got the best speakers. So thanks for that. I would like to thank Mr. Bhargava and Mrs. Bhargava for coming here on this occasion. Thank you, sir, for being here and gracing this occasion. I think if you look at, you are aware of the format that we use in AGFA. I would like to mention one thing that really we were missing and we would have really, really done was the volunteers. The profession across the world, actual profession, be it UK, and I was talking to Margie a few weeks back about what do they do for the volunteers. I think the profession at the moment, if you look at it, there's a lot of people who are working for this profession to be where we are today. People are working behind the scene. They are the real heroes. And unfortunately, there was no platform for us to really bring them on the stage and recognize them. So we discussed that, debated. I think that the whole organizing group and the council was really appreciative that I think we really need to reward and recognize all our volunteers, which really, really help and are the pillars of this profession. So I'm really happy, and a lot of volunteers are here, and there's a lot of senior volunteers who come here actually to really get the rewards. In fact, I should be receiving rewards from them. So apart from that, every year we have an increasing number of fellows and associate actuaries. I would like to congratulate all of them, although they already know that they're qualified. But it's a feeling that we have. I was also, when I qualified, it was a feeling that I had actually to get a certificate from the president among people, among my professional colleagues. So congratulations to all who are qualified and receiving the reward, the certificate today. So I think we're already late. I would not take a lot of time. I would speak tomorrow morning again, more on our Global Conference of Actuaries theme. And for now, I would like to hand over to Rani to take the program forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, and thank you so much, Mr. Khan. Okay, any celebration is incomplete without taking partners' name, right? Those who believed in you. So let me do that. And to do that, I request Mr. D.K. Pandit partner, Messrs. K.A. Pandit, AGFA 2019 partner on stage, please, to share a few words about this association.
Good evening. I have decided to speak few things about our firm, and my granddaughter-in-law, who is the fellow member, she will give the perspective of the future. So I start addressing in this fashion: responsible president and the team who has worked for organizing this function, distinguished members of the actuarial fraternity, awardees, new actuaries entering ever-expanding new horizon, and core roots of the actuarial profession, the senior members. This function is first after 21st August 2018, first Actuaries Day in India. We began celebration here last year for completion of 75 years of our firm. With the blessings of the God Supreme, the only one Param Tattva called by, what is in the name? With the cooperation of the members of the profession and our team, ever adapting to the changing skill sets, who are continuing. I have spoken earlier, my partners also spoke last year, my sons and grandson, granddaughter actively cooperated with the Institute. We are indebted to the profession. Now I would like to introduce my granddaughter-in-law, Jinal Rudresh Pandit, a fellow member of both the institutes, to say what she thinks about the expanding horizon. So kindly.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to everybody for the Actuarial Gala Functions and Awards Night for the 20th Global Conference of Actuaries, as organized by the Institute of Actuaries of India. I am indeed very privileged and humbled to be a part of this event. I reckon that the theme which is outlined for the two-day event really accentuates on expanding the horizons and strengthening our core. And I am so surprised to know that how fortunate I have been to witness that how this theme actually transpires in the form of a journey for my firm, K.A. Pandit. We've been one of the oldest Indian actuarial firm which have been established since 1943, that is the pre-independence era. And like Mr. D.K. Pandit just mentioned, we finished 76th anniversary on 1st of February 2019. I believe this itself is alluding on the tenacious standing of our strength, enduring the test of time and amidst the ever increasingly complicated worldly solutions. I would like to recollect an ancient Sanskrit saying, which basically says, Shakti hi durdamyecha shakyata agya shakta. which basically translates or interprets into that strength really comes from indomitable will. And this is the indomitable will of each and every person of the firm that has contributed immensely, that has put in so many years of hard work, perseverance, dedication, relentlessly, and to build our capacity, to build the core competence while drawing its roots from, the values and the integrity in order to achieve a sustainable growth. I believe that it's a sheer serendipity that how our journey actually unfolds and continues to resonate with this current theme of expanding the horizons and strengthening our core. I'm not sure if you guys are really aware, but I want to recollect. There was this book that we launched last year on the occasion of the completion of the 75th year. And it's a 5th publication, which is called The Vintage is Our Vantage. And on the top page of the book, basically, there is the picture of a banyan tree. To me, trees are my personal source of inspiration in a lot of ways, but in the current context, I believe it epitomizes strength, it epitomizes endurance, it epitomizes so much of firmness, because it has these roots which grounds it and which are there to sustain itself and support itself in the various different times and to withstand that. So I believe that each one of us may be able to relate to this. Similarly, I believe that with this ever-changing, evolving, complex world, I believe that amidst so much of uncertainty regarding technological or financial, economic, political, or social and behavioral change of patterns, I personally feel that actuaries, as a profession, as a community, we need to continuously be much more dynamic, need to be much more updated, need to continuously work on our skill set to grow, to improve, to build ourselves, and to actually effectively contribute to the world. One most important thing which will help us to do this is to actually also improve the understanding of what actuaries can do to a more non-actuarial audience, which can be obviously achieved by using non-technical language or more regular interaction and engagement with them, or maybe more use of digital and social media. I think more of these topics I'm hoping to see it covered during the next 2-day event. Lastly, I believe that since each one of us contribute and consist of this profession, it is the responsibility of each one of us to take it and steer it in the right direction. I am very thankful to the Institute to give us this platform and, to support us. But definitely it is not only the responsibility, I believe, of the professional body, but it is the responsibility of each one of us equally. So I believe that whatever the journey or the path that we as individuals set for ourselves will determine the future of the profession. Since I'm in reverential awe of Swami Vivekanand, I would like to end this note on his thought. We are responsible for what we are, and whatever we wish ourselves to be, we have the power to make ourselves. If we are now what has been the result of our own past actions, it certainly follows that whatever we will be in the future can be produced by our own present actions. So thank you very much. Heartiest congratulations to all the awardees for winning it and putting in sheer amount of hard work, and all the volunteers and the senior members for developing and to give us this platform for the Institute. Thank you.
Yes, before sitting down, I would like to just say one small Sanskrit. Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pusti vardhanam urvarukeva bandhanam mrityor mukshya mamrutat. I mean, that is what our actuarial science is. You have to keep focus with your 2 eyes and concentrate on the third Jnana eye. Then and only then you will be able to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pandit, for that Mrityunjay Mahamantra, perfect for the evening. And thank you so much, ma'am. So moving on, further talking about the associations, may I call Mr. Sanjay Datta, Chief Underwriting, Reinsurance and Claims, ICICI Lombard General Insurance Company Limited, India, proud partner, AGFA 2019. Applause. Thank you.
First and foremost, on behalf of the company, I would like to, communicate our sense of gratitude to be associated with this platform, as one of the partners. As a company, we strongly believe in the role of actuaries in the way ahead. I'm talking from a general insurance perspective. There's a lot of work to be done ahead. Having said that, I would say that the way this particular platform has progressed, it just is a tribute to the law of large numbers, the sheer number of people who can be accommodated at this convention center, and is a testament to the fact that the entire the GCA has progressed to such a big event. Congratulations for that to all concerned who have been part of making this a success, and also to all the awardees who are part of this function today. Having said that, I'd just like to recall a personal touch to the association with the profession, and to our first appointed actuary of our company, Mr. Liaquat Khan. Just to look at how data and its insight makes a big difference to a company. I would just like to recall a small incident. So, but this was the first stage of de-tariffication of the motor tariff in India. And motor tariff, as you all know, has this compulsory feature where depreciation is cut from claims. So when it got de-tariffed, we were allowed to add add-ons to that, and in that add-on, we had an add-on for a customer who could, we call it nil depreciation or nil debt, add-on, but which basically meant that the depreciation would now be borne by the insurance company. I remember at that point of time, he warned us, and some, as an, insight as an actuary across life in general, which was, to me at that point of time seemed very, out of the world. He said that please watch the incident rate of the underlying, book, which is with the non-debt book. The depreciation, cover book, because I think consumer behavior will change once you guys start paying for depreciation. And it was, something which the industry at first did not believe, but over the years, as we started adding depreciation cover, in part of the insurance payouts, we call it nil debt cover, the entire incident rates across the industry moved. So that's how actuarial insight can give a sort of a good insight into how to manage a book and predict it ahead of time. We always look at things behind. There's a classical view that you look at the rear view window and then act as a navigator to predict the road ahead. But as we go ahead, this was one personal thing where he was able to predict something which was far ahead without data and without just trusting behavioral change to come into the portfolio. Having said that, going on the theme of expanding horizon and strengthening the core, there's a lot of work which is required to be done in the actuarial profession in terms of general insurance. Just to outline some of the expectations from this profession in this area, I'll confine myself to general insurance. The other day, I think we're still within this whole issue of escalation of war between the two countries. So a lot of clients, came into us and why don't you cover war at all? Why is the reason why immovable property across the world, there's no war cover available? We cover war for airships and for marine voyages, but we don't cover war for either movable or immovable property in India or anywhere across the world. So I had very little explanation for the fact that the other reason was, of course, that we can't quantify the kind of damage which will come from a war. The explanation was fairly non-technical, but I think, time has come, if not war, at least what most clients reached out and said, you have to find out models for terrorism, you have to find out models where, conventional war is not fought and limited damages happen to certain properties. How do you, bring out capacity to be able to, be able to carry that risk going forward? You can't put everything back to the government. That was one important topic which set me thinking. The second topic, and which is very evident to all of us, is the whole issue of cyber risk, and cyber risk, becoming so extremely dominant portion of our personal as well as professional lives. It's very important. One of the big things which we find as we do a cyber risk kind of polling amongst all the corporates and the individuals, it's a big risk which is emanating. There is domino effect and very little data around cyber risk, attacks and its effects in the insurance world. And that's where I think we need to build models. We need to build ways of being able to anticipate, as I talked about earlier, impact of some of the, basic changes we are seeing in the way we operate on the internet and the various other, IT-related, devices we use every day in our lives and in our professional lives as well, and see how things evolve from there, both for the individual as for the corporate. The last thing, I'd like to talk about, and this is where I think data and actuaries can, where it comes to the fore in financial services industry, is this whole issue of someone I met, and he was a reinsurer. He was a Frenchman operating out of Singapore. He had a family. He was around 50, 55-year-old. His father was 93-year-old, and he was living singly in Paris. So I asked him, aren't you worried that he's in Paris, you are in Singapore? How do you take? You are the single son. How do you look after him? Aren't you worried about it? He said, yes, I do keep visiting him, but, the French system, because coming out of taxes, have built a wonderful, care mechanism for people at the age of 93, where people go and visit nurses, caregivers visit him in his house, every other day. Doctors visit him every fortnight. They look after him, as if, they were sons and, daughters of him. So I don't have a worry. This is the kind of care system the French system has given us through Social Security. I'm not worried. Then I reflected back on the fact that universal healthcare is coming in India in terms of insurance schemes which the government is trying to relate. But that doesn't take care of long-term chronic diseases and its problems of old age. And that's where I think we have to think ahead as a society. We can't depend on the government to be able to provide at-home care, which is a big, expensive arrangement as we get into old age and its issues, chronic diseases, geriatric care. And that's where I think we have to start thinking now, putting in the roadblocks in terms of data, and that ability to guess, human behavior, the healthcare ecosystem as we go ahead, bring it down to the whole aspect of model and data, and be able to build robust models on which we can believe and go ahead bravely in this new world. So both on the new areas of, let's say, terrorism, cyber, long-term care, those are areas, we will look forward to as we go ahead, and to build in the whole robust, the science which you bring to this profession, and try to, help us to take steps as we, those steps which we need to go ahead. Thank you once again for making us partners in this, and very happy to be partnering.